Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a topic that often confuses people. Why do scientific studies sometimes disagree? When you see one study claiming a treatment works and another saying it doesn't, it's easy to feel like science is unreliable. But in reality, disagreement isn't a sign of failure. It's a natural part of how science works. Conflicting results actually highlight uncertainty and show us that knowledge is refined over time, not accepted instantly. Science evolves by testing ideas repeatedly, and uncertainty is a sign of progress, not a problem. As we move forward, you'll see how these disagreements help science grow stronger and more reliable. One of the most important principles in science is replication. Replication means repeating a study to see if the same results appear again, no matter who does the research or where it happens. This isn't about mistrust, it's about verifying that findings are reliable and not just a fluke. When results don't replicate, it doesn't mean someone made a mistake. It often means the original finding depended on specific conditions. Replication helps us separate results that are truly general from those that are limited to certain situations. Over time, this process builds trust in scientific knowledge. Let's look at why some studies fail to replicate and what that tells us about the complexity of research. Why do some studies fail to replicate? There are several reasons. Sometimes, studies use small sample sizes that don't represent the real world. Other times, tiny differences in methods can lead to different results. Random variation, what we call statistical noise, can also make patterns appear meaningful when they're just chance. And when scientists study complex systems, like human behavior or biology, there are so many interacting factors that results can easily vary. These challenges don't mean researchers are dishonest or incompetent. They simply reflect the difficulty of studying complicated subjects. Understanding these reasons helps us appreciate why replication is so important in science. Scientists are people, and like everyone else, they're influenced by human psychology. Confirmation bias can shape how data is interpreted, and publication bias means journals often prefer to publish positive or exciting results over studies that find nothing new. This can make the scientific record look more confident than it really is. But bias doesn't mean science is broken. It's just another reason why replication is necessary. By repeating studies, science can correct for these biases and move closer to the truth. Next, let's see how complex systems and statistics add even more layers to this challenge. Fields like biology, behavior, and environmental science deal with incredibly complex systems. Results can vary widely across different groups or settings, and what works in one context might not work in another. This doesn't mean the original study was wrong. It just means context matters a lot. On top of that, statistics can be tricky. A statistically significant result doesn't always mean the effect is large or important. It just means it's unlikely to be due to chance under certain assumptions. Without replication, small effects can be mistaken for big breakthroughs. That's why careful interpretation and repeated testing are so important. Replication failures matter because scientific findings influence real-world decisions. Medical guidelines, public policy, and even personal choices often rely on early research. If we act on findings that haven't been replicated, we risk wasting resources or putting trust in ideas that might not hold up. Replication helps protect us from moving too quickly based on fragile evidence. It's a safeguard that ensures science remains a reliable guide for society. Now, let's see how the scientific community is responding to these challenges and working to make research even stronger. Replication problem has sparked real change in the scientific world. Researchers are now more likely to pre-register their studies, share data openly, and value replication as much as new discoveries. Journals and funding agencies are shifting toward transparency, focusing on rigorous methods rather than just novel results. These reforms are making science stronger and more trustworthy, not slower. By encouraging openness and repeated testing, the scientific community is building a foundation for more reliable knowledge. Next, let's talk about how you, as a reader, can evaluate scientific claims more thoughtfully. As a reader, it's important to approach scientific claims with curiosity and a healthy dose of skepticism. One study rarely settles a question. What matters most are patterns that emerge across multiple studies. Pay attention to how research is done. Look at the methods, sample size, and whether results have been replicated. This helps you separate strong evidence from early signals. Skepticism doesn't mean rejecting science. It means being thoughtful and open to learning as new evidence emerges. Finally, let's wrap up with some key takeaways about the replication problem and why it's actually a sign of science's strength. Replication problem doesn't mean science is broken. Instead, it shows that science is honest about uncertainty and committed to refining knowledge over time. Disagreement and replication are part of the process that makes science credible and trustworthy. When we understand how replication works, we can engage with scientific evidence more thoughtfully and build stronger trust in the scientific process. Science improves not through perfect agreement, but through repeated testing and open discussion. Thanks for joining today's breakdown. See you in the next video.